you can't do a show about the history of rock and roll in New York City without stopping here at the Chelsea Hotel.
The Chelsea Hotel has been a hangout for rock figures for decades, but it really became infamous in October of '78 when Sid Vicious supposedly killed his girlfriend Nancy here in one of their hotel rooms.
Other greats who have wandered these halls, the Grateful Dead, Patti Smith, and Bob Dylan, who wrote Blonde on Blonde right here. But before he was a music legend, he was an unknown folk singer from Duluth, Minnesota, known as Robert Allen Zimmerman.
It's amazing to think that Bob Dylan landed in Greenwich Village February 1961 with his first neighborhood gigs. But it was 1965, here on 4th Street, when Positively 4th Street comes out. Rolling Stone calls it one of the top 200 songs of rock and roll.
And Dylan was no stranger to political activism. In 1963, he joined Joan Baez at the March on Washington, which was widely credited as helping to pass the Civil Rights Act in '64 and the National Voting Rights Act in '65.
Now, when you're talking about the evolution of the New York music scene from folk to rock, you have to take a walk down Bleecker Street.
You could come here to a place like the Bitter End and see Bob Dylan. You'd see the Grateful Dead, the Isley Brothers, Carly Simon. You name an incredible musician from those early times, they'd be here at the Bitter End. But don't just put this in the past. Lady Gaga has played the Bitter End. It's one of those places where you can get started, discovered, and after your triple platinum, come back.
Another club that has its place in New York rock history is the Bottom Line. It opened its doors in 1974 on West 4th Street, and it was known as the place to be seen in the biz.
Everyone from Van Morrison to Dire Straits to Dolly Parton have all graced its stage. Lou Reed recorded Take No Prisoners there, but it was where another music legend first stepped on the stage with a young folk singer known as Bruce Springsteen, who was looking to reinvent himself with rock and roll. We sat down with our own little Stevie to talk about his very first days with the E Street Band.
Because he had been playing 3 years already.
Right.
So I joined at that point, and we did a week at the Bottom Line, 2 shows a night in those days.
And what do you remember from that week?
Well, it was a big week because Bruce, his career was kind of over at that point. We did a really interesting documentary about this on the Born to Run package. That came out last year, I think it was. It's a really, actually, quite interesting story. I didn't realize how interesting it was until I saw the documentary myself. But at the time, he had put out 2 records and they hadn't done so well, and the company was ready to drop him. I think at that time, John Landau, who was a very respected journalist at the time, said that I've seen the future of rock and roll, and his name is Bruce Springsteen. And then he ended up on the cover of Time and Newsweek, which was just absurd, a completely unknown artist. So everyone came to the Bottom Line to laugh at us and to criticize us and to say, yeah, we want to see that big future of rock and roll, Show us the future.
Somebody got the last laugh.
Unfortunately, we did. We kind of blew everybody's mind.
Now, with incredible success under his belt, not even little Stevie could help save New York's most recent loss.
We tried to save CBGB's. We did a really, Hilly had come to me a little bit too late to save it, but we almost saved it. And it's a real shame because these are sacred sites to people like me, whose rock and roll is my religion. Wouldn't it have been nice 50 years from now if a young band could have played on the same stage where the Ramones invented punk rock?
That Kid from Queens starts the biggest band in the world and how you can get your own personal radio station for free. Plus, Toni on Trivia, your chance to win an autographed Joan Jett Gibson guitar or $100 to blow at PC Richard & Son.